together. Why am I saying that? Because ultimately, closeness to Imam al-Hujjah and having this faraj of Imam al-Hujjah before his dhuhur and the pleasure of Imam al-Hujjah, the key component is taqwa. You know, if you look in our narrators of ahadith, those people who were the closest to the Imam alayhi salatu wasalam, your Muhammad bin Muslims, your Zuraras, your Abu Basirs, or if you go later, your Ali ibn Mahziyars of Imam al-Kadhim alayhi salam, or your Yunus ibn Abdul Rahmans, or all of these great companions, they were primarily what? Fuqaha. And why were they fuqaha? Because they were so pedantic about the Sharia. Yani, they're very careful about their levels of taqwa. Like, for example, people like Safwan bin Yahya. If you look in our narrations, it would say that Safwan was someone that the birds would sit on his back because of his extended amount of sujood when he was praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The friends of Ahlul Bayt throughout history have been those who are the most pertinent with their taqwa, those who are most careful with their laws, their haram and wajibat, staying away from those things that even precaution, like practice precaution, staying away from those things that are potentially, you know, that could lead them down a wrong way. And this element of having taqwa is the thing that takes us the closest to the Imam of the time. Listen to this narration from Imam as-Sadiq alayhi salam. He says something very relevant to what you've just asked. He says, نحن أصل كل خير ومن فروعنا كل بر. He says, we are the source of all goodness, and from our branches, we're the roots. We're the roots and we're the source of all goodness, and from our branches is all piety and all righteousness. فمن البر التوحيد والصلاة والصيام وكظم الغيظ والعفو عن المسيء ورحمة الفقير وتعهد الجار والإقرار بالفضل لأهله. He says that from us, what emanates from us is this righteousness, and from amongst that righteousness is what? Is tawheed, theology, so your nadariyat, your theory, was salat, action, siyam, your fasting, wa kadhmul ghayth, akhlaqiyat, practicing how to be careful when you become angry, wal afwa anil musi, and forgiving those people who have done wrong to you, wa rahmatul faqir, and having a good social standing in terms of helping those people who are destitute in the community. The Imam says all of these things are from us. Yani, when you attach onto these certain aspects of the deen, you're creating a direct connection with the Imam at the time. And the Imam goes on and he says, وَعَدُوُّنَا أَصْلُ كُلِّ شَرٍ, and our enemies are the source of all evil. وَمِن فُرُوعِهِمْ كُلُّ قَبِيحٍ, and from their branches is all ugliness. وَفَاحِشَةٍ, and for example, this promiscuity, indecent akhlaqi behavior. فَمِنْهُمُ الْكَذِبِ وَالْبُخْلِ, and from amongst them is lies, deceit, stinginess. وَالْقَطِيعَةُ, it says that cutting off ties. وَأَكْلُ الرِّبَا, and consumption of usury. وَأَكْلُ مَالِ الْيَتِيمِ بِغَيْرِ حَقِّهِ, and consuming the money of the orphans without any of their right. And the Imam says, and also going on over the boundaries that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has set. He says, if you're from amongst those people who don't stick to the Sharia, you're doing what? You're going in the remit of our enemies. Those people who are within our Sharia, they're within our remit. And the Imam even continues. He says, وَكُلُّ مَا وَافَقَ ذَلِكَ مِنَ الْقَبِيحِ فَكَذَبَ مَنْ زَعَمَ أَنَّهُ مَعَنَا وَهُوَ مُتَعَلَّقٌ بِفُرُوءِ غَيْرِنَا. And those people who perform these actions, or they're attached onto these evil actions and these evil pathways, evil methodologies, they are muta'allaq to other than us. They've what we say, they've intertwined and attached themselves to other than us. The Imam is giving us the key here then. Whoever attaches onto that which is righteous, that which is khair, all of those actions that the Holy Quran and the Ahlul Bayt ﷺ has spoken about, by default you're attaching onto the Imam of the time. Aslan, you can't be separated with the Imam of the time if you're someone who is participating or practicing as the Ahlul Bayt ﷺ have written for us. The more and more we practice the way they've asked us to do so, the closer we become intertwined with the Ahlul Bayt ﷺ. There's no separation then. Now thereafter, there's no meaning of ghaibah anymore. And that's why the Imam says, if you have ma'rifah of the Imam, and this is another thing that you've asked, this is another thing that we can do, to seek knowledge, continuously seeking knowledge, the more and more ma'rifah that we have. One, from the aspect of nadariyat, iman, and other one in terms of practicing what we spoke about right now. وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ وَتَوَاصَوْا before that, sorry. إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ. One is about iman and your belief system, and the other one is about what you practice on your belief system. And thereafter, it then goes to not only advising towards truth and piety, but advising now towards patience, which is completely interlinked with the ayah that you mentioned. Taqwa and social help in terms of moving towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It means that if we're treading this path, we can't be separate from the Imam of the time. It's all interlinked.